Welcome to the Biz Bash podcast, where we make biz strategy a piece of cake. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cami, but you might know us better as Eliza and Calligraphy and Cami Monet. We want to help you, our fellow stationers, artists, and calligraphers, confidently build a profitable and personality-driven creative biz.
We're here to share our honest-to-goodness advice and actionable strategies for ambitious artists.
So put on your party hat, quit being a procrastinator gator, and let's get this party started.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Biz Birthday Bash podcast. Today, we are talking about wholesale platforms versus selling wholesale via your own shop. So there are obviously some distinct differences in terms of payout structure, just exposure from buyers, terms and conditions, ease of use, and so many other things. So we're going to break all of that down for you guys today. Okay, when I say we, I mainly mean Cami because I don't have a ton of wholesale experience, but I love these episodes because I just get to learn from her. So if I plan on doing something like this in the future, I will be totally in the know. I will know all the things. So yeah, that is what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, a little like pros and cons list. Like everything has advantages and disadvantages. So you kind of just have to figure out what's right for you. And like, do you want to be on 5 wholesale platforms? Do you just want to be on one? Do you just want to do your own thing? Like there's lots of different pros and cons to every situation. So I'm just going to give you all the little things to consider, and then you can make an educated decision based on that. Because once again, with business strategy, there is no one size fits all thing except do what's best for you. It's like literally the only one size fits all advice we can give. And I'll tell you guys like my strategy and what I do. And you can just, go off that. So
and decide what you want to do. I was telling Cami before this episode, I have 3 drinks with me today, so I am prepared. I have
non-alcoholic drinks. Everybody, calm down.
Non-alcoholic. I guess when I say drinks, it sounds like I probably have like a martini
and
I got
a martini and a hot toddy
and a mojito. All the M drinks. I have my sparkling black tea with peach juice from Trader Joe's. This is a huge winner if anyone needs this.
I like how you're showing it to the video, like they can see it.
I'm showing it to Cami.
It does look delightful.
And I have my decaf coffee that's made with my $20 Amazon coffee maker. It makes 5 cups, so it's like a mini coffee maker. I got it on Prime Day, and I'm obsessed.
Oh, well.
And then I have water.
And then water.
But that's boring.
I have a little cup of coffee, obviously, and a giant thing of water because you got to stay hydrated. And I'm in my fancy new Amazon Prime chair. You guys can't see it, but okay, when I shared this yesterday, I got so many DMs, people being like, that is seriously the most beautiful chair I've ever seen. They're like, I don't mean this to be weird, but that chair is sexy. I'm like, I know, right? Like, it really is.
When I saw it, I was like, holy cow, you're like entering villain mode. It goes like way up behind her shoulders.
So
like my office chair comes probably to about like my shoulders on the backrest. Cami's is like halfway up the back of her head, so it looks like she's kind of like on a throne.
I have a really short torso too, so keep that in mind.
Actually, you're right, because if I sat in that, I would have normal. At least like 3 more inches behind me.
Yeah, so it would probably be normal, but it's super comfy, it leans back, it reclines. And then my old chair, oh my gosh, he's out by the side of the road because I wanted someone to come get him, but nobody came and got him. And then it was trash day this morning, and I made Alex bring the chair in, so the trash man didn't take the chair because I was like, oh my God, he's going to get trashed. And so Alex had to go bring it back in. So now the chair is back inside because I have feelings for a chair, but I'll put it out again today. So maybe someone will find him.
You guys are hilarious because I would have thought that like Alex would have listed that to sell it.
No,
but
it's not worth anything. Really, it's just not worth it.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Or as Alex says, one man's trash is another man's paycheck. That's what Alex always says. Listen, one of our favorite things to do is pick up stuff on the side of the road and resell it, and it's worked really well for us.
Honestly, like I'm tempted to just make that my career when I go like pick up furniture and like flip it. Yeah. I'm like, I could be very entertained long term doing that.
It's super fun.
I got, oh my gosh, Cami. I don't know if you saw my personal Instagram stories.
I saw your stories. Yes.
I was so excited because one of our local friends has known that we were on a rocking chair hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And this came about because one day I was at their new house. And I was like, oh, those rocking chairs are really cute. They were like behind the house, like under the deck, kind of like put away for like storage. And they're like, oh yeah, like we don't have a place for them right now. You know, they're from like Haley's parents, but we're going to use them eventually. And I was like, can I borrow them? Like the crazy friend who just like asks to borrow another friend's furniture. I was like, well, I could like borrow them and give them back when you guys need them. And Will is like, you're so weird. Like, why would you ask that? And I was like, well, I feel comfortable with them. Like, I wouldn't ask anybody that. Like, we're really good friends with them.
Yeah.
And Will was like, on principle, like, let's not do it because I don't want them like stolen off our front porch. But they knew that we were interested in rocking chairs, obviously, because I was desperate enough to ask if I could borrow theirs that were in like storage.
Can I rent your chairs?
Can I borrow those? So he texted us yesterday and was like, hey, there's some free rocking chairs up in Kennesaw if you guys want to go grab them. And I immediately got in my car and went and got them. So I will be giving the updates on my personal Instagram account because I'm going to be refinishing them. They're going to be refinished by the time this episode comes out. So it's not like there's any point in me telling you that there's going to be like updates that I'm doing, but I'm excited about that, to have like a little weekend project and to like paint the chairs so they can be on our front porch.
Oh yes, that'll be so cute. I love a good rocking chair.
I know. We've been needing them. We have that adorable front porch.
I know.
So
you have to have rocking chairs on your front porch so you can sit out there in the evening and look at all your neighbors. You know, that's what you got to do. That's what you do.
And I want to get a little like outdoor rug and a little table. Well, I actually got like a little garden chair set.
Are you going to
too.
put that in the garden area there?
I think so.
I guess
yes.
that's so cute.
Anywho, enough tangents on all of our things. But I told Cami, I was like, we should just give some life updates today, you know? Like, people like knowing what's going on, and we can go on a tangent for a hot second before we get serious.
Love a good little life update there. So,
yeah, love it.
Okay, well, let's talk about wholesale platforms. So I've kind of broken this down, you guys, just to give you a little idea of how my brain worked on this one, of like different elements. So we'll be talking about like payout structure, exposure, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to talk about like the elements and what that looks like on your own site versus a wholesale platform. And then I'll also talk about the differences with some of the wholesale platforms, because there are quite a few out there. I'm not going to talk about every single one because some of them I don't have experience with, or there's literally like, I don't know, I can think of like 10 off the top of my head, but we're just going to go with like the big ones that people talk about. So here we go. Okay. So number one we're talking about is payout structure. So obviously if you are selling wholesale on your own website, you don't have any commission to pay to anyone else. So obviously that's a huge advantage there. Bless you.
I'm choking on my coffee.
Oh, okay. I don't know what's happening. Oh my Lord. Okay.
Everything's fine.
Pull yourself
I'm so
together.
sorry.
Please stop dying. Okay.
Continue. I'm good.
All right. So big obvious, you won't have any commission if you are selling on your own website. So that's a giant perk. But there are also,
and you mean like commission that the platforms take from you?
Commission the platforms take from you. So each platform does have a different commission structure. When you first join a wholesale marketplace, I don't think there is any cost to join any of them. There's not like we pay $30 to get on here. Like you can just join any of them for free once you're accepted. It's not as easy as just like being like, I want to be on here and selling. Like you have to get accepted, and sometimes you'll get rejected and have to reapply. So there's definitely a little bit of a growing period there to try to get accepted. So that can be a little bit of a disadvantage because you might not be able to start selling wholesale on a platform as soon as you want. But let's break down some of the commission fees. So for Fair, that's the big one. Everyone is hopping onto Fair. It's kind of like taken over the wholesale game. So their payout structure is you get 0% commission on direct orders. So if someone uses your direct link or you get a buyer to sign up for Fair, it is 0% commission. So if you email a buyer and say, hey, shop here, CamiMonet.fair.com, they're not going to get any commission. If someone finds you through Fair Marketplace, it is a 25% commission on their first new order, and then 15% commission on any reorder after that. So it does kind of suck because if someone finds you through Fair and they continually buy from you, you are paying commission on that pretty much for your lifetime.
Right. And I'm assuming it's against their like terms of use to try to redirect them to your website.
You could do that. I mean, They're not going to like really know. You could reach out to them and try
That's
to do
true.
that. Or say like, hey, I can give you a little bit of a deal if you order directly through me for this order. Like I've had some buyers who would have the 15% commission and they ordered like a huge amount of like stir sticks or something. And I would say like, hey, I'll give you like a smaller discount if you order directly through me and cancel that order and have them order through me. So I get like the full payment from it. Or just, or a lot of times the buyers are aware of the commission structure and they really do want to like help you out. So a lot of times they're like, how can I order from you directly? Is it easier for me just to send to you? Like, I want to make sure you get the full payment. So they're very aware of it and no one is like really weird about it. You know what I mean? Like your buyers really want you to get the full amount. So it's not like unheard of to do that kind of stuff. And then
I have another question.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. This is going to be a lot of me like asking questions for you to like clarify because I'm curious about things too.
Yeah.
Do you think in the long run that this will start to kind of like catch up to FAIR a little bit? Like that other platforms will be a little more competitive in that way because the commission is so steep? Like, do you ever see them maybe lowering that, like 10% on reorders or something like that? Or are they just like sitting pretty and they probably won't change it?
I'm not sure. I mean, they do have competition in the marketplace of people who don't have any commission at all. Like other platforms that don't have any commission.
Right.
But FAIR has like the best buyer base and the best like marketing. So you are getting like, it's kind of like back in the day, I mean like 3 years ago, people were going to trade shows were much bigger and having reps was much bigger. That is when you have someone who's representing your line and traveling and going all over a region and trying to sell your stuff. So you're paying them commission, and FAIR kind of replaced the rep group kind of model. So that kind of commission would still be the same without having the added cost of paying a rep, upfront as well. So I'm not sure. I mean, if you are doing your own work, you can like really play up getting 0% commission. Like there are a lot of benefits to FAIR. I mean, if you take the commission part out of it, that like have made it worth it for me.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially if you're directing people directly to that, to your link and there's 0% commission, then you're like, okay, well, I'm kind of like willing to compromise on the fact that if someone finds me on that platform, there will be, because if I bring them, then there's not any. And then FAIR loves that because like say that buyer comes through Cami. I imagine this is how this works, right?
Yeah.
That like Cami or Jacqueline, her VA, are like, hey, come buy from us on FAIR. They bring a new buyer to FAIR. That buyer then goes and buys from someone else. Then that person, like FAIR, is making commission off of that order.
Yeah, exactly.
Would I be right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then when you bring in someone who's completely new and never signed up for FAIR, they will get $100 credit to spend on your shop. So that's also a little added perk. Another little perk that you can get from wholesale marketplaces that you can't get from your own is to be like, if you sign up, you'll get $100 plus like free shipping on this. Like FAIR offers these perks for buyers that would be really difficult for you to offer on your own platform.
So smart. Gosh, they are smart cookies. I mean, it's very cool because we are watching a huge disruption of the wholesale world in general. And Cami and I were actually like getting into a lot of this before the episode too, but it's just fascinating to watch. So, all right, I'm ready to learn about other ones too. Sorry,
wait, I'm not done with FAIR. Okay, and then there's some other ways FAIR can take a little bit more money from you. You have the option to do net 30 payouts. That's the typical way where you will get paid 30 days later after the order has shipped. So it's not after the order has come in. It's like when you actually place the order in the mail and it gets scanned. That starts net 30 from there. So 0% on net 30 payouts. But if you choose to do next day payouts, meaning you get paid literally the next day, it is a 3% fee. So I always do the net 30 payouts because I want to keep more money in my pocket. But if you were someone who wanted to have that cash back immediately, you could take the 3% fee. So that's an option there. So you don't have to have net 30 payouts on FAIR, but you do have to pay more for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know.
All right.
I know.
Well, that's nice that they give you that option because part of our discussion was the whole like net 30, net 60, how much we hate that and why does it even exist?
Yes, exactly. I do think you're more protected with things like FAIR, because FAIR, if like the retailer didn't pay FAIR is going to make sure you get your money. Like they're not going to like be like, well, they didn't pay us, so sorry. It's like you have that protection involved. But when you're working with those bigger companies, they're not going to like, let me go order through FAIR. They're writing like POs and all that. corporate-y thing.
I know. Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about the whole paper source thing later. I'm sure it will come up.
I know.
All right.
Okay, so
Continue.
let's talk about Hello Abound. I am also on this marketplace. So they have, this one gets a little confusing, you guys. They have a couple of options for commissions. So they offer the same thing as Fair with 0% commission on direct orders. The two options are lower commission. You have a rate of 15% commission on first-time orders with an 8% commission after, with net 45 payout terms. So if you do net 45, 15% commission from first orders and then 8% reorders. If you do option 2 with the faster payment, this is you get payment within 5 days and it'll be a 25% commission and then 15% commission after that. So anytime you do a later payment, you're going to be paying less money basically. So on Hello Abound, I do the lower commission. I always want to keep more money in my pocket. So
Yes,
I do
right.
the lower commission. Hello Abound is kind of, I don't know if it's newer, but it's not quite as popular as Fair. So there's still like some tips and tricks of trying to figure out how to like get more traction on there. Fair is definitely a more popular place to be, but Hello Abound does offer where if you send retailers directly, they get the same $100 credit, that kind of thing. So you do have like perks you can offer your retailers with that. It's pretty similar to Fair and pretty easy to use. So those are the two that I am on currently.
And yeah, how long have you been on Fair versus Hello Abound?
I've been on Fair for maybe like 2.5 years. 2 years.
Yeah, you were one of like the very first people. 3 years already?
Oh no, I said 2.5. Wait, maybe it is 3. I don't know. I can go and look, but
I didn't even know they'd been around that long.
I think it's only like 2.5.
Time flies.
Yeah, maybe like 2.5. Hello Abound, I just got on there like a couple months ago, even though they've been like reaching out to me. I was like, I don't want to add another thing. And then I was like, I'll just see what happens. And I've gotten like less than 10 orders on there, which is fine. I mean, it's still, orders, whatever. But,
yeah,
the only thing to keep in mind when you have multiple sales channels is that you are having to obviously keep up with everything. So like it's already complicated.
Right?
Yeah. Like obviously when you add a new product, now you have to add it to like all these other places and make sure everything's correct. Like it just adds another element of work because it seems so simple. Like, why would you not be on 10 wholesale platforms? It's like, okay, well, it gets a little bit more complicated. I promise you.
When is somebody, maybe this is what I need to do. When is somebody going to come up with the Libsyn for the wholesale and the product world where it's like you have one platform? For you guys who don't know, Libsyn is what we use to distribute our podcast everywhere. So it goes to Spotify, it goes to YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, all of these places. Someone needs to create a platform that distributes your like listing to Etsy, Fair, Hello Abound, like all these places.
Yeah, there
right?
is something like that. I can't remember what it's called because it was something I tested for like inventory management. I don't remember which one it was, but if you have to create the listing on there and then it'll sync to all your places, but like they don't have access to like Hello Abound's like API to do that or whatever. You know what I mean? Like always, not all the platforms gave them permission to do that. So it did sync to some of them, but you would still most likely be doing this on your own. But they do offer like onboarding services, a lot of them, but you would still, or like you can download like a spreadsheet, but there's always like errors that you have to go back through and change and like
all that stuff.
Yeah. So definitely things to keep in mind. I feel like I had something else I wanted to add about Abound, but I can't remember what it is, but I'll come back to it. I'm sure I'll come back to it because we'll talk about it. Okay. And then payout structure for, let's talk about Tundra, which is another kind of popular one. I think I was on this for like a hot second and then I didn't like it. So I'm not on it anymore. Tundra has no commission at all for any order. But Tundra is a little bit of a beast because in order to get any sort of traction on there, you have to pay for promotions. Like what I've read and understood from people who are on there is like, if you're not paying for promotions, it's literally crickets. Like you're not going to get orders. So they kind of get you where you have to pay extra for promotions, typically like $3 a day minimum. So there you are with that. So, I mean, it could work out if you're getting a lot of orders. Tundra has a lot of bigger companies on there, like Mattel and things like that, like big companies. So they're kind of a different ball game over there, but could be an option. Tundra also can get a little sassy with your prices because they want you to be lower than other sites. They're like, we don't offer commission, so you need to lower your prices. Like instead of 50% wholesale, they want it to be like at least 55%. So they will literally email you and be like, hey, we saw on Fair, like your prices are the same and we want them to be lower over here. So they will micromanage you a little bit. So people get a little perturbed by that.
Yeah, I would get perturbed.
Yeah.
I'd be like, no, thank you. I know how this works. So.
Yeah, so they're not cool about that. But the same thing also is that Fair has a policy where your prices need to be like the same across all platforms. So if you weren't selling on any other platform, you could theoretically raise your wholesale prices a little bit to cover commission. But if you're on other wholesale platforms, Fair has like a same price policy that you're not going to like raise your prices on Fair to cover the commission. So if you were on Tundra and had the lower prices to please them, then Fair is going to be like, what are you doing over there? Like, so
right.
they want it to be fair. So good. They want it to be fair.
Fair wants to be fair. How cute.
So things to keep in mind.
I have another question.
Yes.
Theoretically, if someone was to develop a wholesale platform that made shop owners like you pay a monthly fee to be on there instead of commission, would that interest you?
If they had the buyers to back it up. So yeah. I mean, possibly I would have to
because you're like, what if you pay, depending on like, maybe it's like amount of listings, right? If you have like less than 10 items on there or something, it's like, I don't know, or it'd have to be based on, maybe it's like based on revenue a month per platform or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like
this
is
just me like
exists.
brainstorming.
I feel like one of those does exist, but I don't know which one.
I mean, and then it's like, you would probably pay, like maybe you'd pay $99 a month, but by the time you like do all the wholesale orders you're doing, like $99 feels like nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely do that if they're like the orders were there, for sure. Like I'm open to that. So possibility why you make
but
one?
I see how like people would be worried because they're like, why would I pay for something monthly if orders aren't guaranteed? So
yeah, exactly.
That'd be hard to advertise. Sorry, everyone. I'm just like over here brainstorming because I love thinking of ideas of like how to change things,
change
or like
the game,
just be a disruptor. Like,
yes,
I love it. All right,
okay.
Continue.
The other
Cami.
one I was on for a brief period of time, and I was like, literally, if you do not remove me, I'm going to freak out because they would not take me off their platform. I couldn't get off the account, and I hated it. I think I got one order, and I don't think I even got paid because there was like this weird payout thing, and someone ordered like one thing. It was super weird. I did not like it. It was called Bootsy. Definitely heard bad things about them, so maybe don't sign up for them. It's a 15% flat commission. It is also absolutely dead. So forget it. Just forget it, guys.
Well, there you have it.
And then Handshake, which is Shopify's version of Wholesale. This is newer in the game. They're definitely trying to put in a little extra to the wholesale game and come in. They have no commission as well. You have to have a Shopify store to be on it. It's kind of like adding an app to your Shopify store. Right now, it's a little bit crickets. They're trying to do stuff by offering free shipping to retailers, but the retailers just aren't there. I don't know why. You would think they would, like it's Shopify, they would have like a big audience or ways to do it, but the retailers just aren't over there. Like I think I've gotten 2 or 3 orders and they just come in like a normal Shopify order. So you're like, who is ordering like $1,000 worth of stuff? And then you're like, oh, it's a wholesale order. So it gets a little confusing. It is also, I think they have changed the shipping profiles now, but it's been a little clunky because your shipping profiles were the same as your retail one. So like I have free shipping over $100, which means all my retailers that they ordered on wholesale through Handshake would all get free shipping because the free shipping thing carries over. And so to like do you think they would just make a separate shipping profile? But they did not do that. There was like all these complicated steps. It's very weird. I think they're trying to simplify that because there's a lot of complaints about it, just to kind of like separate out those two things a little bit. But there are no fees and no commission. So it doesn't hurt to be on there. I mean, if you have a Shopify site, you might as well add that on. And you could also use it as a way to be like, hey, here's where you can shop my wholesale site. If you aren't on Fair yet, you could use Handshake and use that as like your wholesale site. So that could technically be your own platform.
Okay. Yes. That is what I've seen a lot of people do, like make a secret shop.
Yeah. Well, this isn't a secret shop, but it could still be like your own wholesale platform, kind of, because there's no fees and no commission. And it's already linked to your Shopify, but it does get editing the products is confusing because it's still linked to your retail. And then you have to like select it on Handshake and be like, well, I want it to say this on Handshake. It's a lot of work is what it is. It's a lot easier to just have something actually separate, but like the potential is there. The potential is there, you guys.
Right.
So, Definitely a good option. If you spent the time getting it all set up and don't have like 500 million products, it could definitely be a very easy way to start selling wholesale without having to set up a secret site or be on Fair.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so that is all the payout structures. Like I said, there are other platforms too, but those are the main ones. I am on Fair and Abound. So you guys can kind of weigh the pros and cons of all the different payout structures and decide what's best for you.
Love it. All right, everyone. We are going to take a quick ad break and we'll be back right after this. Hey guys, we just wanted to hop in and talk about one of our amazing resources, the A to Z directory. All of us have thought at some point, how did she do that or how did she make that? And maybe you don't know where to start or how the heck to produce this amazing product you've dreamt up.
Well, the A to Z directory is the missing puzzle piece in your biz, you guys. Seriously. So it's built in the form of a yearly membership, and it's your one-stop shop for finding suppliers and vendors for all the things. Literally where to print everything from custom invitations, greeting cards, mugs, koozies, acrylic printing, letterpress, custom ribbon. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And it literally goes from A to Z. From acrylic printers to zipper pouches, we have it in the A to Z directory.
We want to help all of you search less and create more with this list of 300 plus vendors and suppliers. Don't worry, they're very organized. It's not going to be overwhelming and confusing when you join. And this membership also includes access to a private Facebook community. It's incredibly active and involved. And if you need a question answered fast, that is definitely the place to go.
Yeah, our Facebook group really is the best. You guys, everyone is so helpful in there. And we're in there too, answering questions that you guys might have. So it's a great way to get access to us and ask us things without sliding into our DMs. So we're more likely to answer you in the Facebook group, just saying. Anyway, also in the Facebook group, this is new for 2020 and we're really excited about it. We are hosting monthly Power Hour Q&A sessions that are live, and these are only available to our A to Z directory members. So you can hop in with us live and ask us all your burning questions in real time and just hang out with us every month. And we do these at different times so you can actually be there live, and the replays are always available in the Facebook group for members.
This resource is priced at $147 a year, which honestly is extremely affordable and is full of so many benefits, such as exclusive vendor coupons for members only. And we would love to have you guys join. Seriously, it's kind of like our family and our tribe. So visit bizbirthdaybash.com/directory to sign up today and use coupon code podcast2020 to receive $20 off your first year. That's podcast, all caps, 2020 for $20 off your first year.
We can't wait to see you in the Facebook group.
All right, friends, we are back. Cami, I forgot to ask if you need to pee because that would have been a good time for you to go.
Oh, yeah. I think I can make it until the next ad break.
Okay.
I can do it. I can do it, everybody, as long as I don't talk too much. Okay. All right, let's talk about buyers and exposure, okay? So this is kind of just like, Etsy versus having your own website. With Etsy, you have a built-in marketplace. Same with Fair or Abound or whoever you're choosing. You're going to have a built-in marketplace of customers who are ready to shop. So a lot of that work is done for you. So if you have your own platform, you do miss out on the potential of new stockists finding you organically, which has been absolutely huge for me in growing my wholesale business. You are going to be in charge of driving all the traffic to your wholesale site, your own site, and even with the SEO in place correctly, your stockists still might not be able to find your wholesale site because your retail shop is most likely going to pop up first, especially if your wholesale site is password protected. So you are kind of like manually having to get people there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So getting exposed to new shops is like a huge perk of being on a marketplace. So that really does, like when you think of your commission basically going to paying for exposure and getting in front of people, you can kind of really justify and be like, yeah, I wouldn't even get these orders if I wasn't on here. So it is nice to have that. And if you start building those relationships, you can kind of steal that customer and start getting the order from you directly if you don't want that 15% reorder. Or just make sure you're reaching out to a ton of people so you can get that 0% commission.
Yes. Get that 0% commission for sure. Why wouldn't you?
Yes, exactly. So a lot of perks of being on the wholesale marketplace for the exposure and buyers element. Okay, so let's talk about the next one. Let's see, where are we here? I got to get a sip of water. Hold on.
Yeah. We're talking about terms next. So like net 30, net 60, all those good things.
Yeah. So terms. So being on a wholesale marketplace can give you an advantage. I think we talked about this a little bit earlier, but it offers buyers perks that you couldn't easily offer on your own. So some of those perks would be like the net 30 payouts, or the net 30 ordering, the free shipping, free returns, those kind of things that like you're probably not going to offer. Like Fair has insider programs set up where buyers always get free shipping, and it's not you covering it, it's like Fair covering it. The net 30 payouts, like you wouldn't have to keep up with all that to like actually chase down invoices and having to get people to pay. Like Fair keeps up with all that for you. The free returns thing, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But you basically have all the nitty gritty policy stuff worked out for you on a marketplace. So it's really easy to run things efficiently and get started right away without having to like do all these follow-ups or try to like squeeze in perks. However, you don't have as much control over these terms. They're kind of whatever that marketplace is deciding to promote. So having your own site does let you be the king of your kingdom and be like, look, we're not offering free shipping or we're not doing that 30, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Is that a good idea then to like make a secret shop on your own website? Like I know people have done that before.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that coming up.
Oh, we will. Ooh, okay. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So there's like the advantages and disadvantages with terms. Again, you need to weigh like what's going to work best for you. Like if net 30 is payouts are just not something you want to do, you can still do the next day payouts with something like Fair and take that extra money. So it's just that extra percentage out. So just things you want to consider. And then let's talk about ease of use. So this is a big one because
I'm ready.
You know, we all know like making your own wholesale platform, like your own website for this can be a little tricky and it does cost money. Like if you decide to host a separate site, it is still going to cost you money to like host that site, build that site, or use some sort of app to make it work. Like there are some wholesale apps through Shopify. None of them seem to be like great, you know, like there's not one that was like, oh, this one does everything. Like there's still things like, oh, it only takes 50% off. Maybe your wholesale prices are more than that or less than that. So there's just a lot of different nuances where it's never had all the kinks kind of worked out. Like there's not like a one size fits all. So a lot of people in the industry will just end up duplicating their site basically and creating a wholesale only one. So you would theoretically have two separate Shopify sites to keep up with. The thing that gets tricky here, besides, you know, keeping up with a whole separate site, paying for that as well, is that inventory counts can be really hard to maintain with linking to separate sites. So that's also something to consider in how you set it up. Like there are options like Fair now links to Shopify, which is really cool. They're like they just started that linking that over there, which is nice. You can also set it up where it syncs to ShipStation too, so your orders coming through there. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But the inventory can be hard with having two separate sites. And you'll also need to set up minimum order quantities for each SKU on a separate site, which can be a little tricky in getting that figured out. So if you wanted like your minimum order quantity for cards was 6, you know, if someone's trying to order on a website, typically it'd be like quantity of 1. Like you'd have to set that up as like ordering in a case of 6, 12, 18, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So
interesting.
I'm sure there's ways to figure that out. But yeah, that's just something to like think about. It doesn't have all those features like ready to go without having to like do a little bit of coding. And again, with the password protected separate site, you cannot just get organic traffic there. Like someone's not just going to stumble upon it and start ordering from you. Like they're going to have to email you first.
So I'm sitting here thinking then that this is where, like, honestly, this is where a catalog would come into hand for anyone who's interested in doing that. Because then instead of having a whole separate site, you have your catalog and you have your line sheet or like order sheet. So a lot more old school, but then you don't have to think about like all the tech aspects behind the scenes, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So you could totally have a catalog and have people order through that old school. I do feel like that is kind of fading. So I do think people are looking for, like, now that everyone is so used to ordering online, especially after 2020, like it's just so easy to go on Fair, see all the new stuff. And every time you have new stuff, having to update a catalog is going to be difficult. So having something that's already updated, because every time you come up with a new collection, you're either having to put like an insert in, mail all those out. I mean, that's a lot of like manual work where you can just like simply upload something. So
Or you do like an insert and you email it instead of mail it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's ways to do it. I know that there are some people that are still huge proponents of catalogs, but I know that you're right, Cami. Like, if you were to ask people at the beginning of 2020, like, are catalogs the way to go in wholesale? It'd probably be like 90% yes. Like, you need a catalog.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to have one. And now if you ask people at the beginning, like if you asked them a year later at the beginning of 2021, do you need to have a catalog for wholesale? I bet maybe like 40 or 50% of people would say yes, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's probably like pretty split. I mean,
it's kind of like where do you want to put your time in? Like for me now, when I think about it, I'm like, I would literally rather build a wholesale site for myself than put the effort into building a catalog, because it can kind of be my own catalog that's online, always updated. And I feel like I'm coming out with new stuff so often and I have like no structure that the catalog wears me down. And you know what, guys? I still don't have a catalog and I'm doing awesome with wholesale.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, like, Cami is like the poster child for not having a catalog and being successful, because for a long time, like, I'll admit, like, I was wrong, because I was always like, Cami, you got to get a catalog. When are you going to get one? Because, you know, that's what everyone in the industry always said. And she's like, oh, I don't know. You know, I don't know. But it's worked for her.
Yeah.
Like, she's been 100% right in her instinct to, like, not do that for her shop. And like with the way that Cami and I think and operate in BBB is like very similar to how Cami operates in her business, because when we made the A to Z directory, that was our same thought process. Like, why would we ever make a PDF when we can make something that can be updated all the time? It's like basically the same.
Yeah.
It's the same type of thought process.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it could still be a great, like, thank you. It could still be like a great sales tool for sure. I just like, if you're like, should I make a website for myself or a catalog? My vote would be make that separate wholesale website, because you could easily email that link and then they can directly order from that. Like when you send a catalog, they're still going to be like, okay, well now I have to email you my order and type in the SKUs. Like, what's the easiest way for your buyer to shop from you and give you money? Like things move really fast. Like buyers are ordering later more than ever now, like ordering like a week before like major holidays versus like ordering months and months out. So I just think things are moving way quicker, and like you got to be on top of that. I know it's
that was like wild to me when you told me, Cami, like that people were buying 4th of July things for their shops like last 2 weeks ago.
Like, literally,
I was like, what?
Like 2 days ago, Elizabeth. Like I'm like, well, I'm gonna move your order up in the queue because I want you to have this stuff, but like, why are you ordering this so late? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I know. It's crazy.
I love and hate the internet because it has made things like so much faster in a way that sometimes feels like humanly impossible to keep up with.
I know. But Fair will like update your processing time like based on how quickly you ship orders. You can adjust it manually, but it'll also just like kind of go based on what yours is. So mine's like 6 days. So people like, no, it's going to take a little bit. Usually it's quicker, but you know, I'm doing stuff. So there's a lot of orders in front.
I'm busy.
I've got a lot of orders in front of you. So like when you order, it's probably going to take me a while to get out. So yes. Okay. Where was I here on ease of use? And then, okay, there's also an option too, where you could basically just give your wholesale stockist like a 50% off code to use on your website, to be like, oh, here's my wholesale code, you know, so you wouldn't have to make a separate site. You could just use your retail site. But you do run into the issue of them not ordering the correct like minimum order quantity. Like they might just start ordering one of each card, and that's not what you want. So you could either like give them a list of minimum order quantities, be like, you have to hit this, or I will adjust your invoice to like hit the MOQs or whatever. So something to keep in mind. I know a lot of people have done that as well, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be, I'll just put this out there. You want to be a little bit careful with that, because there's all these like online coupon generators now that'll sometimes catch on to that. And the last thing you want is for a 50% coupon to end up on Retail Me Not. And you have someone buying like a ton of stuff, not for a wholesale order, and they're getting everything half off.
Yeah, definitely not something you want. So
just something to keep in mind.
Yeah. So sometimes I just have a buyer who will just email me an order, and then I literally create like a draft order in Shopify and send it to them. I have a handful of old school buyers who just like to do it this way. They're like, this is what I want. Send me an invoice. And so I'll just do that. So that's easy enough. They don't care about being on fair. They're just not interested. They're very old school. They just want to email their order and I take care of it.
Yeah.
So really, you got to like also be kind of open-minded with wholesale. Like whatever way someone wants to order from you, just let them. Like if someone literally wanted to call me and place an order, I would like do that. So
Yeah.
it's you kind of just go with the flow on this. But most people are funneling through wholesale platforms.
Oh my gosh, Cami, this reminds me. I had the craziest dream last night.
Oh,
I had a dream that there was like a place on Marietta Square that got like vacated and cleared out. Like the shop people weren't going to be there anymore. And I was going to start my own shop.
Oh my gosh. See, it's going to come true, Elizabeth. You're going to start your own shop.
I know. And we just talked about that on our Facebook Live yesterday about like me having a shop. But oh gosh, it's hard because the amount of like effort that goes into that for the amount of return, I feel like sometimes isn't.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Worth it. Sorry, everyone.
I know.
Boutique shops, storefronts are very, very hard. If I've learned anything from friends in the industry and people who have done it and then like stopped doing it, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, everyone, we are taking another ad break. So this time Cami can go pee.
I am going to take advantage of this time.
We'll be back in a minute.
Hey guys, you know we share a ton of free, helpful info here on the podcast, but if you're looking to go deeper, you need our Business Sense for Creatives bundle. This is our foundational resource. We share it all. Our pricing strategies, marketing plans, our favorite print partners, real-life examples of our invoices and workflows, and so much more. Literally, it is amazing. It really is the comprehensive guide for a money-making creative biz.
So with the bundle, you'll get access to our 3 webinar replays, Pricing with Purpose, How to Be Confident When It Comes to Charging Your Worth, People and Publicity, How to Find Clients and Deliver an Awesome Experience, and lastly, Productivity and Processes, How to Run Your Business Efficiently and Get Crap Done.
And not to mention, you'll also get our 3 bonus PDF party favors. What? We've heard from students that these are worth the price of it alone. So the party favors are pricing FAQs, the SEO cheat sheet, and a mini favorite vendors guide to get you started on where to print invitations.
So just to clarify, that is not only 3 awesome video recordings, but 3 bonus PDFs as well that support the content from the videos. So I think it's a pretty good deal.
Totally. It's the best deal out there. And you have lifetime access to it, which also adds to the whole value. So
woohoo! Don't take it from us though. Take it from the hundreds of students who have learned from the bundle and have said that these were the best, most real and informative webinars that they've ever watched. We've seen students double their prices after watching these and totally skyrocket their businesses.
This is our roadmap of how we got to where we are today, so skip the mistakes and speed bumps, doing it the slow way, and let us put you on the fast track to running a creative biz like a boss and pricing for profit and not just pay.
And the best part, this resource is less than $100. Seriously, y'all, it's only $97 and it's so worth that price and much more. So go to bizbirthdaybash.com/bundle to purchase it today. All right, everybody, we are back and we're going to talk about buyer relationships next. Poor Cami. I know she's getting a little worn out because she's been going hard on this episode.
Hard.
We're gonna like power through though, and get this rest of the information out to you guys.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm not gonna like pass out. Everything's fine. Okay.
And she just like falls asleep in the chair.
Okay, where are we? Buyer relationships. Okay. Well, we talked about this. Well, we talked about this in our Facebook group recently. So if you're not in there, you're just missing out on all types of good info. But we talked about buyer relationships and how wholesale is literally mostly buyer relationships. Like you've got to keep those relationships thriving. You got to keep following up, talking to them. Like you want your stockists to be friends. Like you don't want to just like leave them hanging, like they order and then you just never talk to them again. You don't want that. This is like a little different than the retail side, as you're really trying to cultivate these relationships. So it can be a little hard to maintain these relationships with marketplaces because it's not as direct. It's the same concept of like when people order from you on Etsy versus your own website and they're like, where'd you get that? And they say Etsy versus like, oh, Cami Monet, like that kind of thing. So you are kind of lost in a sea of other competitors. So, I mean, when they check out, they could have stuff in their cart from all different shops, you know? So it's something to keep in mind. It's harder to keep up with those relationships. You also don't get the customer's email. So you can't you have to message them like directly on a wholesale platform, talk to them on there. So what you can do to stand out and keep those relationships thriving is you can ask them for their email on Messenger, on Fair, wherever, and say like, hey, I'd love to add you to my wholesale email list. Could I get your email? Would you be interested in that? We send out emails about specials, all that stuff. And 99% of the time, they're like, yes, please add me on there. Like they want to stay connected with you. Throwing in like little extra goodies into their box when they order from you. I typically throw in like one card that I like pick out for a shop. Like for instance, there's a shop and I know they have a border collie dog. It's like their shop dog.
Oh.
I also had a border collie and I have a border collie card. So I like threw that in. I was like, oh, this is like in honor of, I can't remember the dog's name, but like something like that. I was like, I used to have a like just wrote a little note about I used to have a border collie. And then they messaged me and were like, that was so great. Thank you for the card. I like gave it to my husband. And then the next time they ordered a bunch more of those cards. So it might be a good chance to like showcase something that you know they'll love and they maybe haven't seen yet. So like shops that are in Utah, like I'll throw in the little ski bunny and they always end up ordering it on the next order. So it's like, it costs like 50 cents for a card. So it's just like a really quick little way to make them feel loved and show them something else in your shop. It's like a customer that is a really big stockist of mine. I'll throw in something a little like extra, like the stir sticks or something like a bigger item that maybe they haven't seen yet. So they'll start ordering that. Just like
so
a sample.
Smart, Cami. Cami's just really smart, guys.
Thank you. And then, of course, sending those follow-up emails with the people you really want to cultivate those relationships with. Like I have a handful where I'm like, Jacqueline, who's my VA, I'm like, we want to continue talking to them. Like make sure they feel so loved and appreciated. Do whatever you can to like keep them on our radar. Or I'll like let them know first when new stuff comes out. I'm like, you're the first ones to know. I knew you'd love this in your shop. Like you just really want to like do whatever you can to serve them because it really, really makes a huge difference. And they remember you and they'll email you about all kinds of stuff. It's so great. Like those relationships are awesome. So yeah. And then of course, following up and engaging on social media. Like as soon as a store orders from me, I make it a point to try to find them on social media, follow them, interact with their stuff. That's just a great way to keep building those relationships without even having to really try because they'll see your stories and they kind of know who you are, all that stuff. But long story short is you have to really work at it. So either way, it's going to be difficult whether you have your own site or on a wholesale marketplace. But there are a couple more obstacles in place with a marketplace than your own shop. But either way, this kind of is like a wash on this one, I think.
Right. Well, I was going to say too, like I know a couple shops that do Christmas cards to all of their buyers at the end of the year, like something special. A little like mailer just for them. And I think that's a really cute way of also kind of saying thank you for their support during the year. So like anything else you can do. I was going to say, Cami, like you should let me help you send Christmas cards to your shops this year.
I do send Christmas cards to my shops. I add them to my list, like my big ones.
Just your personal list?
Just my personal ones. Yeah. Like they know, which I mean, because I've built that relationship, they're going to know exactly who I am. But maybe I'll do like a shop specific one this year if I can pull myself together. That would be really cool. For like all of them. Because you have their addresses, so you could definitely do some snail mail.
Right. And I'm thinking too, it's like, right, you're in 350 shops or something like that now. She just said this number on Facebook Live the other day, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, last I knew you were in like 100, and now she's in like freaking 350.
Like 300 to 350. I'm not exactly sure. Somewhere around there.
Well, it would be really cute. Like, okay, sorry. I'm going to take like a little tangent and just about like mailers and making things fun because people love getting something fun in the mail. And my realtor, every single St. Patty's Day, like leading up to the time we used her and even after using her, she always sends everyone on her mailing list like $1 scratch card on St. Patty's Day. Like, I hope you get lucky. Cute. She goes and buys a ton of them. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. So how cute would it be to like do a little some like scratch off card? Not a lottery ticket, but you can buy those little like scratch off circles and like they have to like scratch it off to like get something from your shop. I don't know. It'd be,
I
have all sorts of cute ideas.
So freaking cute. And I mean, also too, we haven't talked about this, but some of the marketplaces do have like events, like shows where they're like fair or summer markets. Like Fair has a summer market and a winter market where they just drive a buttload of traffic to your site. And all these buyers, it's kind of like replace the big trade shows, it's like an online trade show. So You could send out mailers for that too and be like, hey, we're doing all these specials. Like there's one coming up at the end of July that I'll be participating in. And you basically have like specials, and then Fair matches those promotions. So if you say you're doing 5% off, Fair will make it the extra 5% off. So it's really 10% off for the buyer, which is pretty cool. That's another like perk you couldn't offer on your own. So the buyers love that.
That's another crazy thing too, is like National Stationery Show has totally kind of been, I don't know, it used to be used to be the place where everyone wanted to be. Like that was like where, not necessarily like you've made it, but that's where you would like get your start, or that was a goal of somewhere you would go. And now I just don't think that's as much of a, I don't know. I just don't think it's as much of a reality.
I know. I'm just
people.
like, wow, the cost of doing a trade show, like that's always what I've wanted to do. And I'm like, the cost of that, would the benefit outweigh the cost at this point right now? You know, like I mean, I eventually would want to do one still because I want to do one. But you also have to like consider like the cost of that. So how easy is it to just get on a wholesale marketplace and still have like these tools and buyers at your fingertips without having to like physically go somewhere and make a booth and do all this stuff?
Yeah, right.
You can sit in your Amazon Prime chair and do it all. So that is very handy for sure. But yeah, the marketplaces are, I think only Fair does them. I did ask Abound if they would do something like that, and they said they would consider it. So Abound is pretty open to like feedback right now. They're kind of like adjusting things, you know, so they're pretty open to feedback. They also have Clubhouse chats every Monday, I'm pretty sure. So you can like get on there and talk to them directly. Actually, one of them emailed me and I just realized I think I deleted the email. So, you know, write that down really quick because I don't forget to say about something back. Okay. Because they will do like showcase products on their social media. You can like send them stuff and they'll showcase them. So you just have to say like, oh, I want to do that. And I said I wanted to do that. And they finally got back to me and I think I deleted the email. So I got to get back to them. Okay. Anyway, there's that. Let's see. Where was I, Elizabeth? I'm losing my mind.
We were talking, I think we were about to like move into talking about returns.
Oh yes. Returns. Okay. This is another weird little ditty about being on a marketplace, or more specifically Fair, because I'm not sure how it works in other marketplaces. Fair is the main one I'm on. So I'm kind of basing my experience off of that, which is what most people want to be on. So anyway, returns. This is something you might want to consider.
Can I stop you really quick?
Oh, yeah.
Because you just said something really important that we actually didn't talk about yet.
Oh, what?
You're like Fair, which is a really important one, and most people want to be on. However, there is an application process for it, right?
Yes, we did talk about that a little bit.
We did. Okay, good. I could not remember because there's obviously been a lot of great information.
At the beginning, I was like, you still have to apply. So you have to like, you can't get started right away.
Right. We glossed over it very, very quickly.
Very
briefly.
But
there's a lot of people that we know who have had to apply multiple times before they get accepted. So just be prepared.
Pretty much all wholesale websites, you have to apply. Like you can't just get accepted right away.
Okay.
I think Fair's a little stricter.
Good to know. All right.
Yes,
continue with
to apply. So you better have your ducks in a row before you apply. Like they want to make sure you're already kind of like Fair for sure. They want to make sure, here's some little quick tips, little tangent on how to get like actually on Fair. Well, let's see. In our A to Z directory, I did post a referral link. So search for that if you're in there, because that will help you. I think if you come referred from another retailer. Also, if you are already selling wholesale, they like that. Like they don't want you to be like, I've never sold wholesale before and just kind of like start there. You need to have like some sort of base and be like, I'm in this many shops. So doing the whole work on your own and having some shops under your belt, that is a huge plus. You want to have good photos. They don't do janky photos on Fair. Like it's not like Etsy where you can kind of get away with stuff. Like Fair really judges your stuff. Mm-hmm. So you want professional photos, professional mock-ups. I feel like I had something else and I completely forgot what it was. So those are my little side tangents and we're done. Okay. Let's see. Returns. Yeah. So this is something you might want to consider if you want control over where your items end up. Like if you're like, I want to know exactly what stores all my stuff is in, then Fair's return policy might not be wonderful for you, because Fair does allow free returns. So if someone orders from you, with the exception of holiday items are non-returnable, they will allow the retailer to return that stuff. The thing is, the returns don't come back to you. They go back to Fair, and they put them in this like section of their site called like sale, clearance, or marketplace or something. So another shop can buy them at a discounted rate. So nothing happens to you. You don't even know if your stuff gets returned. So like,
oh, whoa, that's wild.
So stores basically, like Fair's thing is like, you can order risk-free without having to worry about anything. Like if it doesn't work, send it back. Like that's like their whole, like a huge perk that they offer for buyers. But some stores don't like it because you don't know where the heck your products end up. Like I know I've had some stuff returned. Actually, you can see it, I think, on the analytics page. It'll show you like if something got returned because people have to leave a note. And some people will be like, yeah, this just didn't sell. I don't know. And like, you're like, why? Or like, oh, this was too expensive. Like, then why did you buy it? It's just like annoying. But
they're allowed so they can like put something out on their floor and then they decide like 15 days later, like it's not selling. I want to return it.
Yes, they can do that.
This world is crazy. Cami and I were talking about this before the episode started because I was like, what is up with the wholesale world? We put all of the pressure on the shop owners or like the makers, right? Like all the pressure is on them to like deliver. And it's like, I don't know, because I don't know much about like the boutique world. So it's like, yeah, you're taking a risk, but oh gosh, I don't know. It's weird to me.
I think this is only on Fair. I do not know about the return policies on other wholesale platforms. I should have looked it up, you guys, but I didn't. But I know this is a thing for Fair. So that is something to consider. Honestly, I don't really care. Whatever. Like,
yeah, right. If it doesn't affect you, right?
It doesn't really affect you. I think it like Fair's algorithm, like if you were getting like everything returned, it could affect like where your shop ranks. But
yeah,
they're like, you know, understandable on things. I also just got an email for a wholesale marketplace called Bulletin. So there's another one. They said like, oh, apply here. Anyway. So I'll throw that out there for you guys. But if you have your own wholesale platform, obviously you can be like, hey, we don't do returns. So you have more control over that. Something to consider if that's going to bother you.
Okay. Perfect. And then the last thing is that you kind of were going to go over your action plan specifically. Because at the beginning, we kind of covered that obviously you guys need to do what is best for your business. But Cami was like, I'll share what I do in case you want to know.
So that's a lot of like pros and cons and like the apples to oranges, apples to apples. Like there's just a lot of things to consider. So definitely do what works for your shop and your brain. So my strategy that I've kind of implemented with wholesale is like I like a mix of both passive and active selling. I also kind of do this on the retail side. Like I think of Etsy as a passive selling source and my website is active. Like that's what it is in my mind. I know it's not necessarily passive, but I'm not doing like a ton of marketing over there. So I will let these marketplaces do the work for me, but I am still always working to fill the gaps and make the most of it by doing like my own outreach, follow up and marketing. Because I want to get those 0% commission. Because once you get that buyer at 0% commission, like they're always locked in at 0% commission. So I will offer stores the option to order from me directly, but it's so easy for the buyer to order from Fair. It just makes you look polished, like to be like, here, you can just order right here. And it's so easy for them to shop.
Right.
They use that direct link, 0% commission. So it's literally the same as ordering directly from me without having to like do any clunky work. And I also know that more orders can help boost my shop on Fair. So like the more orders I'm getting on there and good reviews, like that's going to boost my shop and the algorithm, that kind of thing. We all know how that goes. So I'm like, this is only a win-win. Like I get that 0% commission. I get like more street cred on Fair. Like it's a win-win. So my secret trick to get that 0% commission is basically to have my VA email a bajillion stores, talk to stores on DM, send your direct link. Anytime a store even's like, hey, I'm interested, like just send a direct link at some point because you can prove, if you can prove you contacted the store or sent your direct link in any way, Fair will remove the commission. And I cannot tell you how many times I've done this with stores. Well, they'll order and I see it's a 25% commission. I'm like, I know, but like, Jacqueline, did you reach out to the store? And she's like, yep, I did. And I'm like, okay, perfect. And I can just send a screenshot of the email to Fair. They remove the commission. Or a DM. Okay. Like if you even say like, I've contacted them on DM, I've been following this, like you can get rid of that commission. You can get it removed, but you have to be able to prove it. So it will behoove you to do a lot of outreach, even if they didn't order directly from that email you sent a long time ago. If you can say, hey, I've talked to them before, like they will remove the commission. So I do like that.
Yeah, that's nice if they do that. And it's the right thing to do to honor that.
Yeah, for sure. So that is definitely handy. I personally have had no complaints with Fair so far. I think they're do a really good job. So I'm on Fair and Hello Abound. Those are the two that I am on. I do not think I'll be adding any more because it is a lot of work to put in the effort. And I spend most of my time trying to make Fair the best. So Hello Abound, I literally just let it sit there. If I get an order, great. Like I don't really do anything over there. So
Right.
So yeah, with Abound too, they like have this like point system where it's like you build up points by if you like reach out to a retailer, you like earn points, and the more like Abound points you get, I think they're called like boost points, like that kind of helps your shop go up. Like the more orders you get points for that, like shipping on time. So it's like this point system, which is kind of fun. So maybe I will put some extra work into that, like maybe be like, oh, use my Abound link instead of my Fair link and a couple of outreach emails, just to, like build up those points. But yeah, people are very familiar with Fair, so they're used to ordering.
Yeah, I mean, the only people who didn't like Fair or don't like Fair, I think were kind of like the people who were just like resistant. They were resistant to that change, right? Because they preferred like the old school way. But I think like Fair has done so much.
Yeah, Fair kind of came in and replaced Etsy Wholesale because that was like the first wholesale platform I was on, and then that just disappeared. And Fair was like, "We're here to save the day," and they were Indigo Fair at that time,
which is so funny because I think if Etsy had kept with it, it could have like blown up. But they just like they didn't do that for very long, right?
I think it was around for a while. I'm not really sure why they got rid of it, but
they were too early. They honestly, this happens all the time.
They were probably too early. Yeah,
where people have a really like great idea or they want to expand. Like my dad was joking about this once. He was like, me and a bunch of buddies started something called like Porch, which is basically what would have been like Zillow or Redfin, right?
Yeah.
He was like, and we started it in 2008. Yep. And he was like, and obviously it was like a massive failure. And then like a few years later, like Zillow and Redfin and all these companies start showing up and had like wild success. And so sometimes timing for ideas is just bad, which is probably what happened with the Etsy wholesale.
Yeah. And Fair just came in and made it like so sophisticated. You know how Etsy is a little, I don't know, like, you know how it looks.
Derpy.
But Fair, it's a little derpy, but Fair made it so pretty and like you could like actually search for just wholesale, and Etsy was just, you didn't have as much control over anything, like the photos and stuff. Fair is just really pretty. Like I enjoy just like going through Fair.
I was like, I pulled it up while we were talking just now and was looking through it, and I was like, I have to have all these candles. I need all of them right now.
Look, if you can get a shop, then you can just go buy all the clearance candles. Like I love looking at the clearance stuff because my mom has like, well, I also have a seller account too because I bought some stuff that I was going to sell in my bundle boxes. Didn't do so great, but my mom also has one for the gallery, and I just love like, I'm like, Mom, we need to order all this stuff. She's like, what? I'm like, we don't like it, we'll just use some for Christmas present, that's fine.
Can you explain to me too what MSRP is, just because I'm like a noob and I can't remember what that stands for?
Yes, manufacturer suggested retail price.
Okay, thank you. So that's not the price that you have to buy it for. That's what you would sell for.
That's what it would sell for. Yes.
Okay, because I was getting really confused because I was like, this seems very expensive to like buy one candle for like $24.
That's what it would sell for. A lot of my stuff that like I sell, I notice when stores sell it, they mark it up even higher than that.
Yeah, because they're allowed. I mean, they're allowed to, right?
I don't care what they do, honestly. If they're buying from me, I don't care what they do. And I get it. Like, I'm always wondering how stores buy anything at 50% all the time and then resell. I'm like, how do you get out of this cycle?
Oh, candles, I would 100% mark up. Like that $24 candle, I would probably make it like 27.
Yeah, like I saw in a couple stores, my table runners were 32. So you get a deal if you shop from me, guys.
But it's good to have those prices there because it's like you don't want to price yourself out completely, right? Like you don't want like the boutique around the corner to like have the same candles for less. And then people are like, well, I'm just going to go to that other boutique because they're selling things for less.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I didn't talk about this either, but this is like a little note about zip code protection because people get questions about this. Like sometimes your retailers want to be the only one in that area ordering from you. Like they're the only ones who can carry your stuff. And
you guys don't see me over here, but I'm like rolling my eyes because I can't believe this is even a thing.
This is a thing. Fair does offer zip code protection. You can turn it on if you wanted to. I obviously have that turned off. But I did have a store reach out to me and they're like, hey, a bunch of stores we noticed have the same kind of stuff. Like, can we get zip code protection from you? And it's a really big store. And I said, hey, we can work on talk about that more as our relationship grows. Cause for me, it would be very much relationship based. The stores that I really push for and I built that relationship with, they order a ton. And I was like, it would be relationship based and you would have to order this much per quarter, guaranteed to lock in that zip code protection to make it worth it for me. And I said, we can talk about this as our relationship grows, because right now, I'm not ready to give you that because the other stores that order in your area also order a ton. So
I would personally, when I think about this, granted, not being so much in the wholesale world right now, that literally seems insane to me. Why would I ever be there's 6 shops in this zip code that really love me and order from me all the time, and I'm going to give permission to just one? I'm like, no, you need to do the job. Sorry, you need to market your shop to bring people in, not just because you're I have something exclusive, right? There needs to be other things going on there to bring people into your store. So I got really fired up in our Facebook group because this one girl asked about that, and I was like, why would anyone ever ask you that? That is insane. Don't ever give that to them. But this is me just coming in hot.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. And I talked about, wholesale is all about relationships. If I locked in, said I would do zip code protection, and they were like, great, I'm going to spend $20,000 a quarter with you. Yeah, I'd probably honor that. If they're like, I spend $500 a quarter, that's absolutely not worth it for me. That's what? Yeah. That's what? Nothing. So yeah, just something to consider. Stores will ask it. Fair does offer that as you can turn it on or turn it off kind of thing. They also offer...
Ooh, maybe you could start telling people that. You could be like, yeah, it's something we can think about as our relationship grows. But if you ever wanted that right off the bat, you'd have to order 20 grand a quarter.
Yeah, it would have to be so high. Because I'm this particular shop is amazing. I have been trying to get in this shop for a year. When they finally ordered, I was so freaking excited because I was like, yes, this is a huge win for me. And then they asked that. I was like, oh, because there's 3 other shops that order, and they're in the same city. So I think that's who she's talking about.
Okay.
So I'm
you'll have to text me later with specifics, because we try to do a good job of not name dropping.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, oh man. But yeah, honestly, do whatever is best for you. You do not have to offer zip code protection. Don't feel like you have to do that at all. So
no,
that's a little tangent.
I would say don't.
Yeah, I don't know. You have to really decide if it's going to be worth it for you.
Right.
But I feel I'm probably not going to do that. So.
Yeah. And your instincts on stuff has been good. I will say that. So.
Yeah. Do you think Rifle Paper Co. has freaking zip code protection? Because they're in every store I've ever seen in my life. So
yeah, every freaking store ever. That's only zip code protection. You're only actually limiting yourself, and the less shops you're in, the less people see your stuff. So at the end of the day, it's more of a snowball if you can get in more places,
Mm-hmm.
Those 5 shops might be ordering a little less. Maybe one of them isn't, you don't have one shop ordering 20 grand. You have 5 shops ordering 4 grand each, but it still adds up to those numbers. And then you're getting seen by more people. So,
yep. So there you go.
Math.
Math. Okay. Oh man. Okay. Well, hopefully this gave you guys a good insight on what to look for in a wholesale marketplace, and just what to expect, kind of weigh the pros and cons of everything. And yeah, hopefully that was helpful, y'all.
I think it was really helpful because, just so you guys know, Cami and I just had a conversation last night about we can like keep our episodes to 30 minutes, you know, like we can get stuff in 30 minutes. No, this episode's a freaking hour.
I know, I can't do it.
Like literally cannot keep things like brief.
I'm trying.
We have so much to say.
There was just a lot to say on this one.
There was a lot. Cami is like amazing. I come into our...
I know. You know what, Elizabeth? We should like make some of these 2-parters, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
You
That's
know,
not a bad
we
idea.
Could keep going. We could do that. We could do that.
Where we split it up.
Yeah.
Like one of our ad breaks is just like, oh, but then
well, not necessarily this
not
one,
this
but like
one.
Not this one, but just like some of them where I know I can like go forever, like an hour and a half. We could make those
2-parters.
You know,
yeah,
2-parters.
We've only had one 2-parter, our Get Shipped Done.
I think we could have a couple more 2-parters.
I still love that episode name. Cracks me up. All right.
Oh.
Everyone, you guys, if you have been around for a while, you know the drill. Please head over to iTunes and leave us a rating and a review. iTunes has been a little wonky lately because they're rolling out some new updates, but if you're able to still leave us a review, we would absolutely love that. Cami, I didn't tell you this, but we have like 200 plus reviews, and lately I've only been able to view like 8 of them. So I don't know what's going on with freaking iTunes and Apple Podcasts and all that good stuff. But that is where you guys would be able to rate us. And then as you're listening to this episode, please take a screenshot and share it on your Instagram stories and tag us, because obviously we always know when you guys are listening. And if you relate to any of the funny things we've been doing, like, I don't know, like me painting my rock chairs or whatever it is, just screenshot that and share it and tag us with like a little comment or something. We just really like knowing that you guys are listening. Like, obviously we can see our numbers on the back end, so we know people are listening, but like the extra like proof of that is always super nice. And if you have questions you would like us to answer, head over to bizbirthdaybash.com/Q and cake to ask a question of us. Anyways, we will see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging around and listening.
Bye, y'all.